You're not broke because you spend too much. You spend too much because you feel something you don't control. Think about the last time you bought something you didn't need. It wasn't logic. It was stress, boredom, relief. And it happened fast, right? That's how money disappears. Not in big decisions, but in small emotional moments you barely notice. Here's the dangerous part. You can make more money, learn budgeting, do everything right, and still stay stuck. Why? Because the real problem isn't your income. It's the trigger behind your spending. Stay with me. Because once you see the pattern that's controlling your money, you'll realize why it keeps repeating, and how to stop it starting today. They don't even realize it at first, but the pattern is there. Spending isn't about solving problems, it's about escaping feelings. Stress hits, boredom creeps in, anxiety spikes, and suddenly, buying something feels like relief. It's not about the product, it's about emotional regulation. That's one of the most overlooked truths in financial psychology, and honestly, most people never connect the dots until their bank account forces them to. Think about it like this: someone finishes a long, draining day, opens an app, and starts scrolling. 10 minutes later, they've bought something they didn't plan for. It feels a lot like those scenes in shows where a character's stress eats after a breakup. It's not hunger, it's emotion. Same thing here. Except instead of calories, it's money. And over time, these small emotional purchases quietly destroy solid money habits and any real progress in personal finance. So here's the shift that changes everything. Before spending, pause and ask one simple question: what am I feeling right now? Not later, not after the purchase, right there in the moment. Naming the emotion, stress, loneliness, frustration, activates awareness. Studies in financial education show that people who label emotions reduce impulsive decisions by up to 30%. That's not motivation, that's control. That's how you start building a real money mindset instead of chasing temporary relief. Now here's where it gets interesting, because even if someone masters this emotional awareness, there's another force working against them 24/7, and it's way more subtle. It's not internal this time, it's everything around them. And once they see it, they can't unsee it. Most people think they're making their own financial decisions, but they're not. Their environment is quietly pulling the strings. Every app notification, every limited time offer, every perfectly placed ad, it's all engineered to trigger impulse spending. That's strategy. Companies invest billions into behavioral design because they understand financial psychology better than the average person understands their own habits. It's like those scenes in shows where the main character walks into a casino thinking they're just looking around, and somehow ends up losing money. The lights, the sounds, the layout, it's all intentional. Same thing happens with online shopping. One click turns into 5. A saved card removes friction. Suddenly, spending feels effortless. And effortless spending is exactly what breaks long-term personal finance discipline. So the move here isn't just have more willpower, that's weak advice. The real play is to redesign the environment. Unfollow brands that trigger you. Remove saved payment methods so you create friction again. Stop just browsing when you're bored. These are simple finance tips, but they hit hard because they change behavior automatically. Research shows that reducing exposure to triggers can cut impulse purchases by over 40%. That's not small, that's life-changing over time. And here's the part most people miss: even if someone controls their environment, there's still a deeper trap waiting. Because sometimes, the problem isn't impulse, it's justification. The kind that sounds logical, feels responsible, but slowly destroys financial stability. This is where it gets dangerous, because now it feels rational. Just because someone can afford something, they assume it's a smart move. But affordability is not the same as financial stability. That's one of the biggest traps in personal finance. Having the money in the account doesn't mean the purchase aligns with long-term goals, strong money habits, or a solid money mindset. It's like those moments in shows where a character upgrades their lifestyle the second they get a raise: new apartment, new car, new everything. On the surface, it looks like success. But behind the scenes, they're stuck in the same cycle, just with bigger numbers. No real progress. No real control. That's lifestyle inflation, and it quietly kills the ability to build wealth or learn how to make money work for you. So here's a rule that sounds simple but hits hard: the 48-hour delay. Any non-essential purchase? Wait 2 full days. No exceptions. What happens is interesting: about 70 to 80% of those urges disappear. Why? Because they were never real needs to begin with. This one habit alone can redirect hundreds, even thousands of dollars per year into savings, investments, or debt reduction. That's financial education in action, not theory. But here's the twist: even when someone stops impulsive spending and starts thinking logically, there's still a hidden force pulling them back. It's faster, more addictive, and way harder to resist. And if they don't catch it early, it will override everything they've built so far. That hidden force is dopamine, specifically the short-term hit that comes from spending. Every time someone buys something, the brain lights up for a moment like a reward system just got activated. It feels good, quick, almost automatic. But the problem is simple: that high fades fast, and what's left is the bill, not the joy. This is where financial psychology starts separating people who stay stuck from those who actually build control. Think about a character like in The Wolf of Wall Street: the rush of buying, spending, upgrading lifestyle constantly. It's exaggerated in the movie, but the brain mechanism is real. Overspending gives that same high-energy win feeling, like a quick level up in a game. But there's no real progression underneath. Just repetition. And over time, it quietly weakens personal finance discipline and long-term money habits. So the strategy flips completely here. Instead of chasing what you spend, you start tracking what you don't spend. That sounds weird at first, but it rewires the reward system. Every avoided impulse becomes a win. You literally train your brain to feel satisfaction from discipline instead of consumption. Some people even log it like a score: save $25 today by waiting, and that shift alone builds a stronger money mindset than most traditional finance tips ever do. And once that starts clicking, something deeper shows up, because it's not just about behavior anymore. It's about identity. The way someone sees themselves quietly decides every financial choice they make without them even noticing. And that's where everything either locks in or falls apart. This is where things stop being about money choices and start being about identity. A lot of people overspend not because they're careless, but because deep down they link success with appearance. New shoes, new phone, new lifestyle posts online, it becomes proof. Proof they're doing well. Proof they're enough. But that's a fragile foundation for personal finance, because it depends on constant validation instead of real stability. It's similar to characters in shows like Emily in Paris, where lifestyle becomes part of identity. Everything looks polished, curated, impressive. But the pressure underneath is always there: keeping up, staying visible, maintaining an image. In real life, that translates into credit card debt, shrinking savings, and a financial psychology built on comparison instead of control. It feels like progress, but it's actually just performance. So the reset is identity-based, not budget-based. A stronger money mindset starts with one sentence: I'm someone who builds, not shows. That single shift changes behavior over time. Instead of asking, can I afford this? The question becomes, does this move me closer to financial stability, investing goals, or real freedom? That's where financial education becomes practical, not theoretical. And over time, it reshapes how to make money decisions are even approached. People who adopt this mindset often report something interesting: less need to impress, more focus on growth. And that shift quietly removes hundreds of unnecessary spending decisions every year. But even with identity aligned, there's still one thing that silently sabotages everything in the background, something most people never clearly define until it's too late. That silent saboteur is lack of direction. When there's no clear money mission, spending fills the gap automatically. The brain doesn't like empty space; it tries to create meaning through purchases, upgrades, and random expenses. Without a target, even good income turns into scattered money habits instead of real financial progress. It's like a storyline in Breaking Bad, where decisions spiral once there's no clear long-term direction guiding actions. When purpose disappears, short-term thinking takes over. In personal finance, it shows up as random spending, a gadget here, a trip there, subscriptions you forgot about. Nothing feels wrong in the moment, but the overall system leaks money constantly. That's not just bad budgeting, it's weak financial psychology. So the fix is brutally simple, but powerful. Pick one mission. Not 5, not 10, one. Debt freedom, investing for long-term wealth, or building a stable income stream. When that exists, every dollar suddenly has a job. Finance tips become easier to apply because decisions are filtered through a single lens. Even basic personal finance choices, like saving or investing, start aligning naturally without constant internal debate. And people who do this consistently notice something sharp. Their spending becomes quieter, more intentional, almost automatic in the right direction. Because now money isn't just flowing, it's being directed. But even with a clear mission, there's still one final layer most people ignore, something ancient and brutally honest about human behavior and self-control that quietly decides everything long before the numbers ever do. This is where financial psychology meets something older than any modern finance tip: self-control. A lot of people look for hacks on how to make money or better habits, but ignore the internal discipline that decides whether any of it actually sticks. Without self-control, even the best personal finance strategy collapses under pressure. It's not about information anymore, it's about restraint in real moments. Think about how often characters in movies lose everything not because they lack opportunity, but because they can't stop themselves in the moment. That same pattern shows up in everyday life: impulse buys, emotional spending, chasing quick wins instead of steady growth. Financial education gives knowledge, but financial psychology determines execution. And execution is where most people quietly fail without even realizing it. There's a strong biblical principle that hits this directly: like a city broken into is a person without self-control. Proverbs 25 verse 28. That image is intense: no walls, no protection, everything exposed. In modern terms, that's exactly what happens to money habits without discipline. Every emotional impulse gets through the defenses, and over time, the financial structure starts collapsing from small, repeated breaches. So the real shift is not just learning, it's training control like a skill. Waiting before reacting. Pausing before spending. Building awareness before action. People who master this don't just improve their personal finance, they completely change their money mindset. And once this layer is in place, something deeper starts to surface, because even discipline has a final test that most people never expect to face. Now think about where you were at the beginning of this, that feeling of losing control, wondering where your money keeps going, telling yourself this month will be different, and then watching the same pattern repeat. But now, you see it. You understand the emotional triggers, the environment, the habits, and the financial psychology behind every decision. You're not just reacting anymore, you're aware. And that awareness? That's the moment your personal finance starts to change for real. So here's the real question: what are you going to do with this? Are you going to keep letting impulse and emotion run your money, or are you ready to take control and build a stronger money mindset? Because if you're serious about changing your life, you need to stay close to this kind of thinking. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because the difference between staying stuck and building real wealth often comes down to the habits you reinforce daily. And if you're ready to go deeper, like actually building systems that work under pressure, then it's time to take the next step. The Material Holistic Health, Nourish Your Mind, Balance Your Finances, Transform Your Life shows you exactly how to create consistent money habits, how to eliminate debt step by step, how to build multiple passive income streams, and how to stay mentally strong even when life hits hard. This isn't theory, it's a practical roadmap you can apply immediately. Click the link in the pinned comment now and start transforming your finances today. It's your time. Check out the material in the pinned comment. Now let me ask you something real. What's one spending habit you know is holding you back right now? And more importantly, are you finally ready to change it, or are you going to let it cost you another year?